Welcome everyone. Whether you are a foreign investor exploring opportunities in Nigeria or a business professional looking to understand the intricacies of foreign direct investment, you are in the right place. Today, we are delving into a step-by-step guide on how a foreigner can incorporate a company in Nigeria for FDI. At ICA, we specialize in helping businesses navigate the complexities of company incorporation, tax compliance, and regulatory requirements in Nigeria. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of the process, and if you need further assistance, our team is here to help. So let's get started. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content like this. So right now, I'll be switching to the slides for us to have a more interactive session. Okay, we will start by looking at what foreign direct investment really means. Foreign direct investment, FDI, refers to an investment made by a company or individual in one country into business interests located in another country. It is different from foreign portfolio investment, which involves investing in financial assets like stocks or bonds without direct control over the business. FDI, on the other hand, focuses on establishing or acquiring business operations such as factories, offices, or subsidiaries, and it involves direct control or influence in the management of the business. So the key word here is direct control. In FPI, there is no direct control. But in FDI, there is direct control or influence in the management of the business. So understanding this distinction is crucial, especially if you are considering a long-term business operations in Nigeria. Okay, let's now look at preparation for incorporation. Let's break down the steps for incorporating a company in Nigeria as a foreigner. Before you start the registration process, there are a few key things to keep in mind. If you don't have a residence permit, you will need to use your foreign address for registration. Using a Nigerian address without proper documentation could lead to complications. As a matter of fact, the Corporate Affairs Commission will query your application. And secondly, you have to ensure you meet the minimum share capital requirement for a company with foreign participation, which is 100 million naira. You will also need to arrange for a registered office address in Nigeria. This is mandatory. You cannot use any address that is outside of Nigeria. Okay, the next step, we will now look at the requirements for incorporating a limited liability company. To register with the Corporate Affairs Commission, you will need to conduct an availability of name search to confirm your desired company name is available. Then secondly, you will have to provide details of the proposed directors, shareholders, and company secretary, including their full name, sex, date of birth, phone number and email address, residential addresses, and identification documents. Then you specify the shareholding structure. Clearly state the business objective of the company as well. You will also need to provide a proposed office address in Nigeria and scanned signatures and means of identification of all the directors and shareholders, including the secretary. And once you are done with that, the Corporate Affairs Commission will issue you with a certificate of incorporation, a status report, and a memorandum of an articles of association. And once you are done with that, the next point of call will be registration with NIPC. Okay? Registration with NIPC is very key and important. So once your company is incorporated, the next step is to register with the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. This is crucial because the NIPC tracks foreign direct investments in Nigeria. To register, you will need to complete the NIPC form. And once you have completed the form, remember, after the incorporation with the Corporate Affairs Commission, you were issued a memorandum and articles of association. You will need to provide that. You will also need to provide the certificate of incorporation and the other supporting documents like the status report, as I mentioned earlier, and a power of attorney if you are authorizing someone to handle the registration on your behalf, as well as the proof of payment. Then once you are done with NIPC, it will now be tax compliance. To operate legally in Nigeria, your company must comply with tax regulations. This includes obtaining a tax identification number and upgrading it to Tax Promax for efficient tax filing. Because if you don't upgrade it to Tax Promax, you will not be able to use your tax identification number because regulatory compliance bodies will not be able to cite it. And also you will need to secure a tax clearance certificate, which requires financial documentation and in case a bank statement or affidavit if you don't have a bank account at the moment. This is to show record of your cash flow. Then after that, the next point of call is to make sure that you have a bank account. A corporate bank account is essential for your business operation. To open one, you will need a SCUMEL certificate. If your company is a designated non-financial institution, you will need to provide the following for a special control unit on money laundering certificate. That's what SCUMEL stands for, special control unit on money laundering. That's to make sure that your bank account is not used for money laundering in Nigeria. And the basic requirements that you will need in order to secure these very important documents required for opening a bank account are your CAC certificate and the status report, memorandum and article of association, your ID card, the ID card of the director, tax identification number slip, your bank verification number, bank account number, email address, phone number of a director. The bank account, the email address, the phone number is just required from a single director. All the directors are not needed. Just a single director suffices in this regard. And it's highly recommended to appoint a Nigerian director to assist with the documentation process. But mind you, you are not yet in Nigeria. So it's very important to have a Nigerian on your board so that the Nigerian can be able to put all this together in order to make sure that you have the SCUMEL certificate in place. Then, once you have sorted that out, the next is application for expatriate quota. This will now facilitate the process of you now coming into Nigeria. Okay. Okay, let's now look at the application for expatriate quota. Your expatriate employees will also need a subject to regularization visa to enter Nigeria. And this requires an application letter on the letterheaded paper of your company, addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Interior. And then another very key important documentation for expatriate quota application includes the Certificate of Incorporation and the CAC status report, the Memorandum and Articles of Association. Then a feasibility report is very important for them to know how feasible the operations, your business operations is. And then also your tax clearance certificate is very important and key in this regard. Then a bank reference letter. Remember, you have already sorted that out. You've opened a bank account. You need it here in order to make that possible. And also lease agreement for office space, because you are going to be carrying a business operation. You need an office space where the business operations will be carried out from. If there is a joint venture between you and some Nigerian partners, a joint venture agreement will also be needed in this instance. And also, will I call it the most important of all, is evidence of capital and machinery importation. You are coming to do business in Nigeria. Definitely you need capital, and also if you are in the production aspect, you need machineries. So it's very key for you to have evidence of that capital or machinery importation. Then details of expatriate salary, job description, designation, and qualification is very important. After you have sorted that out and you have granted an expatriate quota license, then the next will be for you to apply for an STR visa. And your expatriate employees will need a subject to regularization visa to enter Nigeria for business purposes. And for you to be able to secure the STR visa, there are very key important documentations that you also have to have in place. The very first one on the list is a valid passport with at least 6 months validity, and also a letter of employment. You are coming into Nigeria to work, there should be a letter of employment to cover that. Remember, I mentioned that the expatriate quota is very important for you to make this application. So you have to have that expatriate quota approval certification to show that you already have your slot secured, which you are now coming into Nigeria to possess. Then also the credentials and the CV of the expatriate is very important. They have to know that you have the proficiency, the ability to be able to do the work that you are coming to Nigeria to do. You are not just coming to Nigeria for vacation. You're coming to Nigeria to work. You must have the know-how to actually know what you are coming to Nigeria to do. Then after you have been stamped, your passport has been stamped with a subject to regularization visa at the Nigerian embassy, and you have now arrived in Nigeria. The next is to regularize it so that you can be able to secure your SEPAC card, the resident permit. So once you are in Nigeria, the expatriates must apply for a combined expatriate residence permit and aliens card. That's what SEPAC is, the resident permit. And for you to be able to achieve this feat, there are some other documentations that you will also have to have in place, and they include: you have to purchase the CR form, complete it adequately without any mistakes. Then also 4 passport photographs, 2 by 2 inches on a white background. Very important. You have to take cognizance of these facts so that you will not go back and forth on this issue. Then an application letter on company letterhead accepting immigration responsibility, passport with STR visa endorsement. We've already talked about that because that's what you have to do before you even enter into Nigeria. Letter of appointment and acceptance, very key. Expatriate quota approval, very important. Credentials of the expatriate, very, very important. We've already mentioned it earlier. Complete form IMMA 2.1 and E.20, very key. And also the company profile and incorporation documents of the employer company. And let's now look at the very important takeaway. So to summarize, here are the key takeaways. You have to ensure compliance with CAC and NIPC registration process. Very important. CAC is your first point of call, and then you now move to NIPC so that you will have your documentation with regards to your foreign participation in Nigeria. Then you have to address all tax obligations. That includes securing your tax identification number and also getting your tax clearance certificate before you even do anything. Then once you have done that, when you are now ready to come into Nigeria, you have to secure an expatriate quota and follow up with visa and residence permit for foreign employees so that your foreign employees can come into Nigeria. If you are the one setting up the company yourself, you can also be able to come into Nigeria and then carry on your business. Then very importantly, you have to maintain proper documentation to facilitate the bank account opening process, which is very important. You are coming to do business, you need a bank account in order to secure your funds after you have made your profits. So if you follow these steps, you will be well on your way to successfully incorporating a company in Nigeria for your foreign direct investment in Nigeria. Okay, you need help, contact ICA on the number on your screen, or you can also send us a WhatsApp message, or you send us an email at info@ica.ng. And that's it. We have covered the essential steps for incorporating a company in Nigeria as a foreigner. If you found this video very helpful, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more valuable content like is. If you have any question or you need assistance with your company incorporation, tax compliance, or any other regulatory requirement, don't hesitate to reach out to us at ICA. Our team of experts is here to guide you in every step of the way. Thank you for watching.